Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2018 video. Today I've got another little bit of a manual read through to do for you. Today we're going to cover the cab in the 380. I have the most up-to-date traction guide. It's issue 2. Well, I think it's the most up-to-date. It's issue 2 from June 2014 of the class 380 electrical multiple units, 3 and 4 car units. Today we're just going to start out with the cab stuff. I'm going to go through driving techniques and all of that in a separate video, but this is just going to give us an overview of what the cab is like, what's in it, what to expect in it, what each little thing does, if we can get through it in the time. We've got till North Berwick, so we're not too bad. One thing I will say at the start of this video is this manual is massively clumsy. It's huge. It's huge, and every page is laminated, and the folder it's in, which is my own fault because it's the folder I put it in, the rings aren't actually big enough to hold all the pages properly, so it likes to shed a few pages here and there whenever I read it. So this video isn't going to be so much about the driving or the scenario, but I will say the scenario is a Chris Horsfield scenario. It's available on his website, and the repaint we're using is by Ash Clark and is available on Train Sim Designs. This is one of the ones, well, I'll show you when we get going anyway. Right. Let's get started. Good afternoon, driver, and welcome to Edinburgh Waverley. This afternoon you're operating train 2 Yankee 18, which is the 1612 of Balliol ScotRail service to North Berwick, calling at Musselburgh, Wallingford, Preston Pans, Longdidry, Drem, North Berwick. Open the doors and prepare for an on-time departure. My doors are already open, my headlights are already on. We are due to leave here, I think, at 12 minutes past. So we've got 2 minutes. So we'll have a quick look around the outside. So this is... That wasn't me, by the way. That was me. Is the Ash Clark repaint, and it is stunning. If any of you guys know what these numbers on the end of the cabs are in relation to, please let us know. We don't actually know. I can't work it out. I can't find it out. It's 2. Some have, both have 2. Some have 2 and 3, 2 and 1. So if you guys know what it is, please let us know. Okay, it doesn't matter that we've got the doors closed there. We still are waiting until 12 minutes past to actually depart. Otherwise, I'll experience some yellows, which I found out on my stream. Okay, so this is going to be accessing the cab and the equipment in the cab, and as much as we can get around it. I'm not going to include the TMS too much in this one. I will do a video on that as well. So, access and egress for the driving cab. Entry and access to the driving cab for the Class 380 EMU is via manually operated single leaf sliding plug door. From ground level access involves utilising a bogie mounted footstep and interior mounted handrails. When entering or leaving the driving cab, drivers should be aware of the possibility of the alignment of the footstep being different from expected, particularly on curved track. Always take time to ensure you have 3 points of contact, including a secure footing on the footstep before climbing down, descending from the cab to trackside. So the 3-hand hold thing, having 3 points of contact. When I did my training for the oil rigs, that was the one thing that was literally drummed into you from the moment you got on site to the moment you left, was 3 points of contact. If you were caught going up or down any handrail without it, even in the training, you were warned. And if it happens on rigs, you tend to be NRB'd after a little while anyway. You get 3 strikes or something, not quite sure. Don't care to find out either at the minute. So this is new compared to the older manuals that I have, and I quite like this one. Driver side seat safe usage guidance. You'll receive practical training on the driver side seat. Oh, that's 20, even though it's 125 and then didn't tell me what it was. That's not very helpful, is it? Considering I'm... You receive practical training on driver's side seat for your own safety. You must only operate and use the driver's cab seat in the approved manner. The driver's seat sits on a pivot system and has 2 positions. These are the forward pivoted position and the retracted pivoted position. When driving the Class 380 EMU, the driving side seat must be in the forward pivoted position. This is to give the driver optimum sight lines out of cab windscreen for sighting signals and stations, etc. So keep it in the forward position. Now, does that mean in this it's that silly position? No. But I did find out Chris actually drives in that position, the nutter. So there are some people out there that do drive in that position. To position the cab seat correctly for driving, ensure the seat back is locked, grip the pivot adapter with your left hand, and grip the handle on the driver's desk with your right. Then gently move the seat into the forward pivoted position. Adjust the seat height, inclination, armrests and seat travel as required. Adjust the DSD footplate as required. To exit the cab seat, using your legs, push back and allow the seat to pivot rearwards. Swivel the seat anti-clockwise and exit the seat. Return the seat to the forward-facing position and lock in place. To exit the cab seat in an emergency, place the train brake into emergency by operating the emergency stop plunger located on the driver's right-hand side on the movable wall, which is the bit to my right you can see now. So that will be this bad boy here. And this movable wall we'll get onto as well. Use your legs to push backwards and allow the seat to pivot rearwards, swivel the cab seat and exit cab and move to position of safety inside coach. So you might have already got this from what we were talking about earlier about the Dsd pedal. It has an adjustable Dsd foot pedal. To maximise the comfort of various sizes of driver, the Class 380 EMU is fitted with a height adjustable Dsd footplate. Methods of adjusting this footplate and other functions are covered in a different section, but we're just telling you about that now. Non-driving side cab seat. A non-adjustable fold-down seat is located just here on the non-driving side of the cab. This seat requires to be folded down prior to use. You don't say. The seat spring-loaded and will return to the upright position against the back wall when not in use. So there you go. So now we have the driver's desk. The following primary control instruments and indicators to control and monitor the operation of the train are placed on the driver's desk so they're operable and viewable by the driver in the normal seated position. So we have the TPWS system here, DRA in the middle there. Then we have the wiper, which has got, not like this, it actually has intervals of slow and quick. ECCS acknowledge. Then we have hazard. See on here actually it says that is no fire alarm, that's correct. Then it is major alarm. And then it is hazard warning. This is called the Hmi Display. No idea what that stands for as of yet. It was a nice 86 sitting there. There is also a very nice HST that we'll see come through soon. I will stop and give you a look at that in this scenario. Oh, the HMI, right? You'll like what this stands for. The HMI, Human Machine Interface. It's like Transformers. It's used to display diagnostic messages and to control selected train systems, e.g. driving, braking, brake system, door alarm, line voltage, current auxiliary systems and lighting. And then there is a fire alarm bypass button. Where is that? Red illuminated fire alarm indicator with the integrated push button will bypass fire alarm require and silence the warning alarm. I can't actually see where that is because even in the manual it doesn't really show you where it is. So then we spoke about the major alarm indicator, didn't we, which was down here. Major alarm. It's a red illuminated indicator used as a backup device to inform the driver of a level A, which is the highest fault of the HMI display, if it's failed. The integrated push button enables the driver to acknowledge any present major alarm. So if there is anything that goes wrong, we're stopping at Musselburgh, so I'm just going to slow down here. If there's anything that goes wrong, it should come up on the HMI, which again is this bit here. But if for any reason that is something that has failed, then the major alarm button will come on as well. I've got to get used to the brakes on this because they've been slightly adapted, which is lovely. But it means I've got to relearn how to drive it. So major alarms are safety systems isolated. Unless you've isolated the relevant safety system, you must check which safety system is isolated and apply any restrictions to operation defined in your modular handbook. Brake system fault. The major alarm would normally be initiated by an electrical loss of the brake force, i.e. BCU MCB trip, or a loss of communication of the service brake via the MVB. Let me just stop here. I'm not too worried about timings, as I said, so we're just taking it easy. The emergency brake is still fully available as this is hardwired. If the alarm sounds and you are about to have or initiated a braking for a station stop, signal, etc., immediately apply the emergency brake and stop the train. After stopping, report fault to signal and carry out fault analysis. If there is no immediate requirement to initiate braking, then bring the train to a stand immediately or at a suitable location. If an unsuitable location, tunnel, viaduct, etc., using the available brake force. If necessary, use the emergency brake if this is insufficient. So basically what that is saying is, this does one more beep, doesn't it? And then I can give them two back. So that basically means if that came up just as you're about to start braking, it would recognise that there was a brake fault, and you have to push the emergency brake, unless if you're coming up to a signal or what. But if you were just driving along normally, then you can just use your normal braking if whatever was available. So this is also something to show to you guys. Ta-da! This is the Spirit Sunderland. This is 43274, which is also Chris's username on Twitch, actually. This is Lewis Clow's addition to one of the BH reskins stuff, and I think he's going to speak to Brad about getting it released. I'm not sure, but I've been sent it just to have a look at. So I think Chris and Lewis worked on top of this. So it's got all the correct fonts, the correct fours, the spanners, everything is present and correct. The really amazing thing about this is this was drawn by hand. I say hand, by mouse. So Mr. Clouds actually went round and did all of this by hand, and it is stunning. The tree is one of my favourite things coming off the bridge. Looks beautiful. It's done a really, really good job. Really, really good job. I just really hope this will see the light of day. At the moment, it has no release date. At the moment, it's no chance of being released unless the other people whose reskin bits they've used agree. So it's lovely, and I hope we see it. Also, the coaches have been done as well. Correct font on those. I think the stripes are the next thing to be tackled. That's right, so we're on the major alarm button. If the passenger alarm is operated, the major alarm will come up. Low sand, that'll come up. When the sand level's at 25%, the major alarm button will come up. If the speedometer tolerance is out by more than 5 miles an hour, data recorder fails, it will do it. Read monitor. This indicates that the train is emitting electrical frequencies that may interfere with other trains or signalling equipment. So that's like the FAP on the Class 92. If there's low main reservoir pressure, it will also light up. So it's basically just a fault light. Major alarm is strong, should we say. Right, next we get onto this little panel sitting here. This is called driver's desk left sidewall. The operating indicating elements to the left side of the driver's comprise of the lower left sidewall panel and an upper illuminated timetable clipboard. Does it? Not in this model, it doesn't. So you've got duplex pressure gauge there. You've got your exterior lighting here. Dsd alarm noise, that's the speaker, is just here. You then have the door panels. You've got doors locked, which is supposed to be there actually. These two here are release doors, so they're actually the wrong way around on the train sim model. Should have picked a service I wasn't doing much stopping at, really, shouldn't I? So suppose this model might have been right for launch, and this has been changed due to drivers finding it difficult or something like that. I don't know. But according to the manual, this isn't how these buttons are laid out. So these buttons on this wall here would be release doors left are there, and where you've got the doors locked, and then you have the close doors button the other way around as well. So it's all the buttons are there, but just different. Here you have the heat and ventilation and AC emergency off button. You've then got your signal bell, which is here, and these again are the other way around. This would be your cab lighting button, and this button here is a pantograph up and down, but that's on this side, so these are the wrong way around as well by the looks of it. So the duplex pressure gauge, which you should all know about really anyway, been used on trains for God knows how long. Main reservoir pipe and brake cylinder pipe, and the coloured lines are the markings. So you've got the main reservoir pipe, which is yellow, and you've got the brake cylinder pressure, which is red. Not that I know it works on this, I'm not sure, I haven't looked. So exterior lighting, you have tail light off, marker only, daylight, night light, and then the HVAC emergency off button. So this is a white illuminated latching push button with the following settings. Extinguished means it's normal operation, and if it's illuminated means that the HVAC system has been shut down. The HVAC emergency off should be used when the fire alarm sounds. So why that's not automated just into it, I don't know. Maybe it's to do with keeping passenger areas smoke free or not introducing oxygen in. I don't know. I really don't know. And that's as much as it goes into about it. So next we get into the rotary switch, which is the panto up down button, which is over here. It's a yellow spring loaded rotary switch to raise and lower the pantograph and open and close the vacuum circuit breaker. So if it's extinguished, if pantograph is raised and VCB is closed, we're also stopping at Preston pans. Flashing if the pantograph is lowering. Speed above 7 miles an hour, the pantograph will drop immediately. What? Doesn't make much sense. Okay, so if it's flashing and if you go over 7 miles an hour, it will drop immediately. If your speed is below 7 miles an hour, pantograph could take up to 70 seconds to protect the heat and ventilation and AC. So those systems probably don't like losing their power instantly, so therefore it stays up for a bit. Speed below 7 miles an hour, again the pantograph will drop immediately if switch is held for more than 5 seconds, and I've stopped far too short on this platform. Illuminated steady if VCB is open or the pantograph is lowered. So that'll be lit up, not when it's up, but when it's down, which is the opposite of what it does in the sim. And then there's a note at the bottom. If low power detected, it may be the case in multiple that VCB has not set in the rear unit. Therefore, attempt to reset VCB using switch. This can be checked in the HMI when the train is at a stand. Okay, so now we get over to the driver's desk, which is the right side wall. This bit here. So we have the DOO monitors up here. We have a PFA13 handset here, which is the PIS system. And then you have a JFA04, which is this one here, which is actually slightly lower in the manual than this one, so they don't get muddled up. That is the GSMR driver's handset. So what I have noticed already is, out of all the trains that I have done these manual read-throughs for, this has easily been the most inaccurate. So, this little panel here, well, you've got your GSMR, which you know about, and then you've got your so passenger information system is this side here. So I don't know why it says system OK. I mean, it would be nice to see that functioning, wouldn't it? So you have your WSP and sanding button, which does actually work on this. Doesn't light up though. Deploy and retract gangway. Now I was sure that at some point during my career of playing Train Simulator with the 380 that worked. If you can confirm that, please let me know. Then again we have the door release buttons, which again are the wrong way round. So these two would be there, and then you'd have your door close button below and your interlock light here. You then have this button. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not even enough buttons. So the real one, this is 5 along. This is 4 along. To be fair, it's not in use because that's an ETCS. What's that say? ETCS DMI? BMI? No idea what that is. It says not in use anyway. Then you've got your windscreen heater, which is next, and your windscreen washer, which is next to that. So we had the human machine interface here, didn't we? This up here is called an MMI, which is a man-machine interface for the passenger information system. What the hell? Man-machine? No woman may touch the PIS. It's just a bit bonkers, really, isn't it, that? Long Didgery was stopping out. So the emergency stop is a latching mushroom push button. It's depressed. Following actions will take place automatically. An emergency brake application will happen. Auto opening of the driver's cab to saloon back. Oh, right. That's cool. Okay, so if you push the emergency, this button up here, it automatically unlocks this door, because that's the position of safety. If you're in a train cab and you're hurtling towards something that you know you're going to crash into at 40 mile an hour, you don't want to be sitting here, do you? You want to get your bum in there pretty quickly. So that door, saloon door, automatically opens, which is quite nice. I've come in a little bit hot, I think, here. Oh, come on. As I said, it weren't about the driving today, it's about reading. Note, if the button remains depressed when the master key is removed, there will be an audible alarm sound. To silence the alarm, you're required to reset the button. So to do that, you need to turn the master key on and then back off. Rotary gangway switch, which is this one here. Green and spring-loaded, rotary switch, deploy and retract front gangways with the following setting. Extinguished means the front gangway is retracted and locked. Illuminated means the front gangway is completely deployed and locked. Flashing, it means it's in operation neither completely deployed or retracted. Note, the operation of the front gangway will inhibit use unless all missile locks are used. What is a missile lock? And why did they only get one beep? Well, guards being lazy. Isn't one beep call for it? I can't remember what one buzzer is. There's 2 back to you, mate. So the other thing that's completely wrong about this is this MMI. Do you know what I think this is? Shall I tell you what I think the cab of this was modelled on? When they moved the Transport Museum, right, from up near the art galleries to the Riverside Museum, they had the mock-up, the cab mock-up of this, of the 380 in there. I wonder if that's what this was taken from. and that's why it doesn't look the same as it would do. I have actually sat in the mock-up of this. It was battered and bruised and things had been pulled apart on it, but it was quite a cool little feature anyway. So that's what I think it is. So actually there's like these F buttons aren't those at all. It's the PA button, a crew call button, a driver call button, and then there's an answer button here. So I mean it's very similar, but there's more or less buttons really. So down on the floor, back up here, we have a Hvac switch, which is the passenger alarm override. So this overrides an emergency brake application initiated by the PASCOM. If pressed within the first 5 seconds of the alarm sounding, an overridden PASCOM will sound again after 60 seconds if it hasn't been cancelled. So means if you were in they love the saying tunnel or a viaduct. If you're on a tunnel or a viaduct, it means you could basically push that to hold you over until you got out of the tunnel or the viaduct to a safe place to stop. The next one is Dsd Pedal, which is here. It's DVD and Dsd. So Dsd means it's like a dead man's pedal, so you'd have driver safety device, your foot has to stay on it. If it comes off it, then your train with emergency brakes will go on. DVD is the driver vigilance device, so that's what the beeping is. When you hear it start, oh I shouldn't be doing 105, got 100 max in me. When you hear that beep, and you have to reset it by lifting your foot off the Dsd, and that means that you're still alive and you are able to hear what's going on and fully conscious. So Dsd and DVD are different things, but both pretty much operate in a very similar way. We're stopping at Dram, aren't we? So with this being a very modern unit, what did these come into service? 2009? Was it maybe? Maybe even a bit less than that, I think. This whole panel in the floor here, this whole floor section, that can actually lift up. That's the adjustable bit of the Dsd. Oh, and it's a short platform at Drem, and I've come in too fast. So I do apologise about my absolutely shocking station stopping today, but we are doing the manual stuff. So the non-driving side, which you can't get to on this train sim, just has an emergency stop button and a pneumatic control switch, warning horn high and low. Driver side back wall. So on up here, these aren't modelled at all, but you would have your battery off, fire detection system test, battery on, lamp test, door key switch, release doors left, signal bell and the sounder, and then you have fire detection system, saloon lighting, passenger alarm, cab lighting, closed doors and doors locked. Above that you'd have the cab air conditioning. You have temperature select and fan speed for your HVAC. Battery on is a push button switch, which is a green push button to switch on the 110 volt DC batteries of the train. So that's auxiliaries, so that's set and on. If the pantograph is lowered and the unit is running on battery power only, a red HMI fault will appear 5 minutes prior to the battery switching off. Prior to resetting the batteries, check that the battery voltage is showing no less than 86 volts on the HMI page main components. If the voltage is more than 86 volts, press the battery on button for 5 seconds and this will reset the 60-minute timer. So basically it means if you lost overhead line and you were stuck, say it was in the middle of summer, your auxiliaries could still come on and the batteries would run your air conditioning until they get to, well, until it's been 60 minutes or they get to 86 volts. And then that will turn off as well. I think I'm not getting my doors because I am not in the platform properly. So that's why I'm only getting the one bell. So I mean, it's a very comprehensive manual. Very comprehensive manual, and I will go through pretty much most of it with you throughout a video series that I'd like to do on the 370. It's just find places to run it, really. So we've got pantograph for lowering conditions, we've got the HMI input, we've got what's all around the outside, even down to toilet stuff. There is hundreds in here, so I am actually really excited to go through it all with you. In further videos, if you do want to see those videos, and if you, oh, that was not what I wanted to do. If you do want to see the videos, please do let me know. Leave in the comments if you like these technical videos. Let me know. I thoroughly enjoyed doing them because it means I'm not wasting my time reading them. It means I can read them, so I get to read them, plus also tell you guys as well. They are a bit of a difficult read. They're not easy, being quite technical anyway. They're a bit wordy, and without the glossary of terms and things like that, some things can be a bit weird. This 380 has really thrown me. There is some really, really strange terms. Now, those of you that are familiar with railway terminology and some more modern stock, you would know this, but there's things like a GOP. I did not know what a GOP was. Never heard it mentioned in any other manual I've ever read in my life. It's a guard operations panel. Once you know it, it's quite simple, isn't it? Oh yeah, you can see what's called a GOP now. I didn't realise how bad scenery was around here. Sort of an afterthought, wasn't it, this? HMI, MMI, odd. I don't know if this is a particular Siemens thing. Or if it is actually what they're called in railway terms these days. I thought things had to have pretty standard names to stop confusion. But ah well. So yeah, I mean, I've got manuals for masses and masses and masses of trains. So if there is a particular train you would like to see a manual review on, or a read through on, feel free to leave a comment, or pop on over to the Facebook page even, and just ask on there. That'd be a good one. I've got a lot of older stuff. I've got some of the newer bits. Newer ones are harder to get hold of, for obvious reasons really. Trains that are still in service are pretty rock hard to get hold of. Any manuals for them tends to be more pot luck when they crop up more than anything. I'm glad I don't have much of a view out of the 380 just because the scenery isn't brilliant here. So yeah, Ash's reskin with the living wage stickers on the door, the Abellio logos. The blue does look better. Of course, the I don't know why my... Oh, there we are. There you go. Destination displays have been done by the one and only Chris Horsfield, of course. Loves a destination display. Brings it to life a lot more. I quite like the way these have been... Some of these have got nicknames of angry Zeros, which I think is quite nice. I think they are of the better looking Zero family. Even though you couldn't really call it good looking, it looks sort of like some sort of wasp or insect, doesn't it? It's not pretty. But I like the fact that they at least attempted to style it a little bit. That deserves a bit of commendation, doesn't it? No matter how bad it looks, they at least tried. So often in the railways, things are done on practicality, for obvious reasons, but things are done on practicality more than looks. I was just looking at North Berwick and going, why is it North Berwick and not Berwick North? Again, if anybody knows the answer to that, let me know in the comments below. And I know it should be 5 approaching any buffers, but... .9 will do. Okay then guys, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe to this video. And I will catch you guys. Oh, don't forget your comments if you want to see more of what you want to see. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.